My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
Doth mother know you weareth her drapes?
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
It's the Al Travis Show, and we love having Senator Hoffman in, because I'm going to put him on the spot, get him in trouble right away.
Right away.
Generally not a topic people in your position will discuss, because you say one, you're leaving others out, and I don't care. Over the weekend, wife and I stopped in a place in Austin, Minnesota, kitty corner from the Spam Museum.
Oh, beautiful.
And we're just stopping in for lunch, said, find something on the internet thing, and she did. It was called Piggy Blues Barbecue Sauce.
No way.
Fantastic. Oh, my God. The service was great, which always helps. It's like every
Blues?
Piggy Blues. It's Piggy Blues. It's like every barbecue shop, right? Just weird old crap hanging on the wall. Like, fine. Yeah. So the ambiance was what the ambiance was. Then this lovely gal sat us down and talked us through the menu and what do we want. And I always do the smorgasbord, give me a little, I want
everything.
I got 4 different kinds of meat on my plate. You keep the vegetables for you. I'll do the meat. But loved it. Absolutely loved it. So today, and this is where you'll get in trouble, I'm asking folks, do they have their favorite little barbecue place? Everybody knows Famous Dave's. Famous Dave's good. I'm not ripping the Dave's. But do you have a favorite little barbecue shop in your neck of the woods, or give me one outside your neck of the woods so you don't get in trouble for sponsoring somebody?
Well, there's Q Fanatic, which is in Champlin.
Q Fanatics?
Q.
Okay.
Q Fanatic. There's 2 in my neck of the woods, if you want. Okay. So good. Q Fanatic and Famous Dave's, of all places, in Coon Rapids. I got to tell you, man, I still to this day, their brisket is bar none. But Q Fanatic is drop dead the best. Okay. Yeah, actually they were featured. Q Fanatic years ago when they first opened. They were featured on who's that
Champion. Okay.
No, who's the guy that had Bobby Champion? He did a song about him. They won a Grammy Award in 1994. Senator Bobby Joe Champion. Little does anybody know that he truly is.
Where did you say that was? Oh, I know he is. We talked about it. Where was this?
Oh, where's Q Fanatic? Q Fanatic
is where?
Champlin, Minnesota.
Champlin. Okay.
And it was, if you Google it, they were featured in some national food thingy, made some TV, and it just blew up. And it's like, it is consistently, and it's old school. It does a great job.
Are you a wet barbecue guy, or are you like the dry rubs? I'm a dry rub guy. I just throw it out there. Not against the others, but I don't like getting all agree. I'm a dry rub guy. Your thoughts on the sauce itself?
Chicken's got to be dry rub. Chicken's got to be dry rub. Period. Right. When it comes to brisket's got to be brisket with.
Got to be slathered.
It's got to be slathered. It's just something about it.
I was going to bet you weren't going to answer that question, because by mentioning one, you'd forget somebody else and get in trouble for it. So I appreciate you stepping up.
So you can tell your golf buddies today that I didn't reroute the question into faded away and start talking about Dorothy or crappy music, or the fact, those folks that are watching you on Facebook, there's this band behind me. Al, who is that band? Do you remember that band?
That is The Who.
Oh, dude. Close, same year, but this guy right here, you know who that is, don't you?
This is a young John Hoffman.
That's a young Peter Frampton in the band. That was after he left his first band called The Herd. That is Humble Pie. He created that with Steve Marriott in 1969.
Okay. And no one can see that because we're doing radio, but I appreciate you doing the.
So just look up Humble Pie.
There you go, Humble
Pie. And that's an old Ludwig drum set, right? The snare right there, that's an old Ludwig badge drum snare.
For folks who don't know, he is the drumming senator on our program, Senator Hoffman. Let's talk some work. I didn't understand all this completely, but I'm getting there as time goes by. Yeah. You got the Department of Human Services. You're the head of that committee. You got your business done, right? You guys are done. You got her signed, sealed, delivered, and all the other stuff. And
all we got to do is when you got the biggest bill, the biggest target, we had to cut $1.1 billion. When it came down from when 1.5, 1.3, I came at 7, so we went 300 million first year, 800 million the out years, right? And it was like, how are we going to do this? Well, we got to work, and everybody, it was about equity, right?
Sure. Well, let me ask you this. Oh, did you freeze up? John is in Fromo. We'll go to break. We'll talk to John right after this when he gets himself unfrozen. It's the Al Travis Show. More after this.
If it's your turn to host a game, Grandpa's Barbecue suggests you try something different. Put out the perfect barbecue flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. Add it to your ribs, dip the meatballs, or drench your wings in the original flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. It isn't too hot or spicy, fruity or smoky or whatever. Grandpa's Barbecue. Available in select stores and online at grandpasbarbecueshop.com.
There are many ways to explore Alexandria. Some like to experience the outdoors and all the fun winter in Minnesota can provide. Pick your favorite way to get in touch with nature. Others like to explore downtown in the warm comfort of a boutique or gathered around a table with friends. You can do all of that or relax and do nothing at all. Come explore Alexandria. Start planning at explorealex.com.
You are still on the YouTube thing, just so you know. Keep your language down. Nicely done.
Mid sentence, also, poof! All the screens just went black. And
Like, I think he froze up here. We'll go to break. This will be a little longer segment this time, but that's all right. We're good. 1 minute out. Here we come.
As in alligator. L also in alligator. But it's not alligator. It's the Al Travis Show.
Senator Hoffman is so, the A-team, is so ahead of his time. You remember back in the day, if you didn't want to talk somebody on your cell phone, you'd pretend that it was, in a bat cell, I can't, and you just do that. So I asked John a very tough question about human services, how to get rid of $1.8 billion. And John's now, just freeze until Al goes to commercial break. Brilliant move, my friend. You are so ahead of the game. It's not even funny.
Al, I was born yesterday, man. That, just that it was the coolest thing. But two things. So the sitting there and I'm telling you, okay, equitable.
Yeah.
We wanted to go equity and said, look, if we're all going to tighten our belts here, because it happens in the flux of government.
Oh, yeah.
It is what it is. But human services happens to always get, and I still don't understand why. With 25% of our population 65 and older, you got 1 in 5 people with a disability in the state of Minnesota. 1 in 10 is chronic, right? And so it's like, where are our priorities? And I'm tired of these people say these cost drivers, you got to lower. It's like I'm tired of that game, right? So anyway, we as a group, and I started to do that, and all of a sudden my screens went blank, and the whole system shut down. It was the oddest thing in the world. And then my favorite though is this: I fire it up, I fire this thing up, and I get to you, and you're there, and you got commercial going on, and not the first thing out of your mouth was, "Hey, welcome back, John." You're just like, "Listen, we're live on Facebook. Be kind or be."
I was waiting for you to put the Effenheimer out there or something. I'm like, what? They're like, no, just John. We're still live in there. Let me ask you this:
no empathy. Just hey, don't be dropping the Effenheimer.
You are
the Effenheimer.
No, you're like the second. Are you the first or the second biggest budget?
Well,
it's human services or education. I don't remember. I forget.
Education is the largest.
All right. So you're second largest. But this is what I don't think people understand. So you get your business done. Saving the $1.8 billion, get on your budget, you get her done.
Yeah.
So the people that got sent out yesterday, a pink slip, right?
Oh, no, you're talking about the state employees. Yeah, the
state employees. They will not be people that are under your budget. That's done. That's been approved. That's all going. Those people will be guaranteed to keep working, right? Is that what I'm getting?
See, what they have to do by statute, they have to give a 30-day notice to a potential government shutdown, right? So if the bills aren't paid by June 30th, hence if you don't have your budget done by June 30th, and that means the governor has to sign it. As soon as the governor signs the bills, they become law, right? And then is yours signed as being Department of Human Services signed, or is it in this overall thing they're knocking around waiting to get done? No, it'll come up. The bill will be by itself. It'll come up because what you did is you had, because the beginning of the year, somebody decided not to show up for work, but that's just one of those things. And so we knew it was going to be a tight line. We knew we had till June 30th. We got our policy done a long time ago, right? We were like one of the first ones of that, and we were one of the first to be done with the budget. Toughest budget, the highest targeted cuts.
I get that.
We got it done. Oh, no, you got to go back to the process. No, it still has to then, when we come into special session, a new bill will be presented.
Okay, those people are still in the link. If we don't get this thing by June 30th, even Department of Human Services people whose budget's gotten done and approved will still be laid off. Okay, that's what I want to know. Who's going to be harmed here? No, everybody's got to. He's got to have budget bill. So whatever budget bill doesn't get signed by the governor, then that means that part of government isn't going to be working July 1. But we'll be done. I mean, I think everybody will be done. Egos. It's egos, dude. It's like unbelievable. Set your ego aside. God, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of people personalizing stuff. I'd agree with you 100%. The egos up there are amazing. But here's what may be in play, and if it is, shame on the Republicans. But there has to be a growing concern, because what I read today in the agenda was they don't think this thing's going to be done by Friday. Right? So now if we don't get this all done by Friday, because like you say, there's some personality issues, you're 10 days away from Senator Mitchell's trial starting.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Well, then all of a sudden it's 33, 67, 67, and the world goes in a handbasket. So is there more pressure on you weren't even thinking about that, the Senate Democrats to get it done beforehand, or the shuffling of the feet by the Republicans to say it's a whole new set of cards come the 16th?
Oh, here's what I did. I really did what Jim Ramsden taught me years ago was, we had bipartisan, bicameral. We broke up into work groups. We had people, substance use disorder stuff. It was a Republican and a Democrat in the House that did all the work in that. And, we were like, way to go. And when you look at, we had Republican Senator Abler and State Representative Kim Hicks working on stuff of EIDBI, autism, and waiver reimagined. So, I mean, I broke up. I do what I did is you break up into people that's what their passion is, right? And, and then you sit there and you go, all right, you guys did your work. You're going to put their whole heart and being into that. And so we sat around. And we even did a letter. Get this. So we go in front of this tribunal, right? And I'll tell you what, I sat in the middle. I had Joe Schumacher, a Republican chair of the House, and the Democratic chair of the House, Hoffman, on each side of me. The three of us sat next to each other. The three of us said the same thing. You gave us a tough target. We met the target deadlines, and we did it in a manner, right? We did it. We did this. And then there was a hemming and hawing going on from folks. And so we even did a letter to the legislative leaders and to the governor. Actually, it was to the governor and the legislative leaders. And you know what? I had all 10 people that were part of the working group, Republicans and Democrats, all sign a letter saying, this is the work we did. Accept it. And
here's a softball for you. According to the daily agenda, it is the tax bill and the bonding bill that are really still holding things up. Yeah. We don't need a bonding bill. It's not a bonding year. I know people would like it. I presume that
you don't need a tax bill either. It's not a tax. Tax bill isn't even needed this year either.
I think where they get the goofiness is, this is me. I'm asking you to tell me who the bad guys are. Yeah. Is the Republicans came out and said, we're not going to, no new taxes. That's it. So I presume with the $1 billion deficit or $6 billion, somebody wants to increase some taxes somewhere, and that's what's holding it up. Otherwise, why? The bonding bill's kind of the same way. You don't have to do it. If you're going to do it, make it minimum. I don't know. I don't know. I find it weird we'll shut down government for those two things.
No, I don't. I'm not hearing the no new taxes. Oh, by the way, I think you 1%ers need to pay more taxes anyway because how many taxes?
See, and I am just against that. I want to say every last penny, and I don't want to help anyone, John. So please stop forcing me to help others. I don't like it. You're making me stop.
Permit set aside is a big issue. The data centers is an issue.
Yeah.
Do you give these billionaires the ability to open up these data centers and not pay taxes, or don't you do that? Right. That's the sticking point. I think that's where the sticking point is on that one. And
all right.
Data centers want to be in Minnesota because it's cold weather and we got a lot of water. And people on the left are saying, that we have limited water. What are you doing? So they should pay more in taxes. So that's that debate is going on.
All right.
And I mean, it is what it is, right?
What are your
All
thoughts
I know
about
is this is we got our stuff done. Joe Schumacher from Laverne, Minnesota, and John Hoffman from Champlin and Mahmoud Noor from Minneapolis. Look at that. Three absolutely bipartisan, differing political opinions. We got our stuff done.
John, if you and I can get together once a week, we know that this stuff can happen. It isn't freakish. It can happen if you pull your attitude out. Let me ask you this. Do you believe the idea that everybody going back to work today how is that going to change things in Minneapolis, St. Paul? Will this just be a flyby thing once they start going back to work 50% of the times? Like, hey, I get to see my buddies, is this a non-burger?
You get Melvin, or I'm not even going to say his name because I don't, the mayor of St. Paul, he decides to do it. Everybody's got to work. We got to go back to work. And then, the next day, then the governor says that. Okay, well, what does that mean? Most, like in human services, most of your work is pushing paper and being compliance. And you know what I mean? And so it's like, you could do that from anywhere. And so, they get people back. It'll be good for downtown businesses. I mean, St. Paul businesses were closing their doors because nobody was sticking around to have lunch, right? So I don't know. I don't have an opinion on that.
I just think we are so used to going to work all the time. COVID changed things. That's why there's this fight now. If you had said this in 2019, you got to work here 50% of the time, like, I'm on it. They'd be happy. I think you get 6 months down the road is back to normal.
Funny. That's funny. You're right. Prior to 2020, hey, dude, all you got to do is show 50% of the time, and I'm still going to pay you. And then you'd
be jumping through the roof. My point is, it's 5 years. It's not like it's ancient history. Oh, that's the way they did it when they dig plows with a stick in the ground. We'll get back to them. I just think we get back 6 months.
50% of the cows today and 50%
50% tomorrow. They'll be fine.
Mass dice doesn't care about mass dice is setting in. It's like, there you go.
All right, gambling man. With the last 30 seconds, does this get done? Does this whole thing get done before the end of the month, so that we don't shut down the government? Mm-hmm. And if so, will it get done this week, next week? What are your thoughts on when this thing gets done?
I'm thinking we're coming in this weekend. I'm thinking there's going to be lots of people talking, and I think Saturday, Sunday we're going to be in will be in session, and by next Monday morning, the governor will have all the budget stuff taken care of, and Minnesota can go about its business. That's what I'm thinking.
All right, fingers crossed. Next Monday when you're on the show, we'll take a victory lap. Fair enough.
No, you get the over. You want the over or under on that one?
Over and under. You got 5 seconds.
I want the over.
All right, fair enough. We'll be back after this. Senator John Hoffman on the Al Travis Show.